Dave Rubin was recently on the Joe Rogan Experience, and the two had the following back and forth regarding the post office and libertarianism. Dave Rubin is himself a libertarian, but I think he's misrepresenting the libertarian criticism of the post office, and I'll try to unpack and clarify that. Let's watch the clip.
Do they do the post office well? No. What do they do well?
They do the post office pretty good, actually.
But guess what? If the post office closed tomorrow, it would be all right. You'd still get mail. Amazon would pick. No, it wouldn't. Amazon would pick that up.
You would have to send things through UPS. It would cost a lot more.
It wouldn't, though. Competition would start kicking in, and between UPS and FedEx and Amazon and drones and blah 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 and DHL, they'd all start. It would probably drop prices because right now we've just got this artificial thing that sits there that then allows them to price according to that. But if you drop that, why is the government in that?
I've heard other people criticize Dave Rubin for this excerpt. Here's Michael Brooks of the Majority Report, for example, giving Rubin's position some scorn.
Rogan was right, of course, but of course didn't even address there'd be massive swaths of the country where there wouldn't be any delivery because it doesn't make any economic sense to provide that delivery, to the fact that the U.S. Postal Service is actually predates almost all major institutions in this country. It's actually written into federal law. It actually helped us during other banking crises, and actually does work well today, I guess, besides the ever-present threat of waiting in line for a couple of minutes. I just want to do this brief tangent. I had to mail something the other day. I am like a typical millennial. I don't spend that much time in the post office, obviously, but I had to mail something by snail mail the other day. I waited in line for 7 minutes, end of the world, obviously, where I was basically sending text messages on my government research-enabled iPhone. And then I got to the counter and I realized, and I felt bad because it was 35 cents to mail a piece of mail, which is of course another thing, what a disgusting and efficient place. And then I had only a 20 on me. It was literally the only piece of cash I had. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And I handed her, and she said, 20 for 50 cents, baby, don't worry about it. Have a great day. And I left. And I was like, yeah, fuck the post office. These are the worst, most inefficient people in the world. And
Michael Brooks and Dave Rubin both miss what I think the actual libertarian criticism of the post office is. Now, I want to make clear that I'm not myself a libertarian, but I do recognize the appeal of that philosophy, and I feel it's being misrepresented here. When a libertarian says that the post office is not well run, they don't mean that it's not well run from the consumer's perspective. The post office may require you to wait in line sometimes, it may be crowded, and perhaps the system of which line or which form you need to fill out isn't always perfectly clear. But, as Michael Brooks points out, the services that they provide, chiefly sending packages and letters, are provided for a reasonable price, and the quality of the service is generally pretty good. What people mean when they say that the post office is not well run is that the post office operates at a loss. That's the chief complaint. The post office loses billions of dollars every year. Here we can see a graph of the post office's net income. This graph comes from a paper published by Soncon, which is an economic advisory firm. You can see that the post office had some good years in the 90s and early aughts. But for almost all the years that the post office has been open, it loses money on net. From the post office's press release regarding their budget, we can see that they have a net loss of $3 and $6 billion in 2017 and 2016. Michael Brooks, when he's scorning Dave Rubin, is right that the price you pay at the post office is fairly cheap. For 50 cents, I could have a letter picked up by a post office employee, conveyed to a post office center, sorted, scanned, processed, transported around the country, sorted again, sent out in the care of a new, different post office employee to be delivered to another person's house anywhere in the country, and all that for only 50 cents. If lots of people sent lots of letters, then perhaps you could leverage economies of scale to make a profitable business out of services like this. And perhaps that's what was happening in the 90s and early aughts. However, people don't send that many letters nowadays. And why would you when you could write a text message or send an email for a negligible cost and get near instant delivery? That's why your mailbox is full of ads and a few bills and not letters from friends or family. Rubin says that competition would drive the price of delivering mail down, but I don't think he's right about that. Because the problem is not that deliveries are too expensive, but that they're actually too cheap. The post office is providing its services at a loss. Imagine that I ran a car dealership, and to compete with the car dealership down the road, I decided to sell all my cars for half what they cost me to buy. What a great deal, right? I'd sell a ton of cars. Customers would love my car dealership because I'd get them a great deal. Just like Michael Brooks, who's happy that he got to send a letter to anywhere in the country for 50 cents, people would be happy that they could come to my car dealership, even if they had to wait in line, and get a great deal on a car. The only people who would not like my car dealership would be those people who own the car dealership. They'd be the ones losing money every year the car dealership stayed open. And if I said to them, yeah, but the customers are getting a great deal on cars, that wouldn't be too persuasive to the car dealership owners. as they would have to keep handing me billions of dollars to run the dealership at a loss every year. Well, guess what? In this analogy, we are the taxpayers. We're the suckers who have to keep the dealership open. We're the ones who have to keep giving the post office money every year so it can run at a loss. And yeah, it's great that the service the post office offers to people is affordable. But maybe, just maybe, it costs more than 50 cents to take a letter from Alaska and deliver it to a small town in rural Florida, dropping it off at the recipient's mailbox. There are regions of this country, especially rural regions, where it just does not make economic sense to have a post office, where a post office cannot really make money. The government is going to happily continue running post office branches in such places, even though it makes no economic sense, and they're going to keep incurring losses year after year there because they just don't care if they make or lose money. And after all, why should they? It's not their money, it's yours. In my personal opinion, subsidizing the post office was a good idea in past years when people needed the post office to communicate and stay connected to the outside world. But now I think it makes a lot less sense. Letters are more easily conveyed via the internet than by mail trucks. Bills and spam are going to find a way to reach us. Letters from friends and family already have. Without the government subsidizing the delivery of packages, then I fully expect that the cost of delivering packages will go up, contrary to Dave Rubin's estimation. But I say let it. If the markets are going to be efficient, then participants need to pay the full cost of their transactions. If participants don't pay the full cost of their transactions, they're going to consume more goods or services than they otherwise would. The full cost is going to be paid by someone, though, and that someone is going to be the taxpayers. If shipping a box is going to cost 10 times as much without the post office, then I would ship fewer boxes. Probably you would too. Maybe instead of getting packages delivered by Amazon, I have to go out to a local store and buy something. One reason right now that a small store in your local town cannot compete with Amazon is because the government is subsidizing delivery of Amazon's packages. The point is that prices would change without the post office, and once prices changed, then people would buy more or less goods and services as a result. The government would stop losing money every year on the post office, and that money could be reallocated to other pursuits. Or it could just be returned to the taxpayer. The efficiency of the market would increase, and we'd all be made better off as more goods and services were produced at a cheaper price. That's the libertarian argument against the post office. So, what do you think? Did I represent the libertarian position well? Am I missing something? Should we close the post office or keep it open? Please discuss this and anything else in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then please let me know by clicking the like button. If you want to see more content in a similar style, then go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for your time.